He had been bedridden for 3 years, depending on his wife for everything, but to his surprise, and after all the changes in his life, he also had to face the change in his wife's behavior. One day she arrives in his room saying that she was going out with a friend from work, and that she wouldn't have an exact time to return. He, suspicious, said that these outings had become routine. Every day she went out with this friend from work who picked her up at home, but who was not innocent of believing that there was nothing between them. She denied it, but he kept talking and stating that she was cheating on him, that he didn't deserve to go through all this. She kept denying it, and angrily said that she would take his money to pay a caregiver, because that burden was not hers and that he should stop complaining. She then said goodnight and left. And he stood there alone and devastated by everything he just heard from his own wife. Next day, while she was using her cell phone, the intercom rang and she went out to answer it. At the door was a girl asking if it was in that house that they needed a caregiver. Quickly, she pulls the girl by the arm and says yes, and that she had great recommendations about her and that she wasn't even going to do an interview. In a hurry, she introduces the caregiver to her husband. And with a tone of contempt she says that she could no longer take care of him, and that from that moment on, she would have peace. More than quickly, she leaves the room and he is under the care of William, his caregiver. He then thanks her for being there to take care of him and tells that he hasn't changed his clothes for 3 days, and that last night he hadn't even eaten anything, and that's why he was starving. So she said she would be there with him to take good care of him and not miss anything, and that's exactly what she did. She took care of him down to the smallest detail. Next day, while the caretaker was making his bed, his wife arrived asking where his credit card was, because hers had maxed out. He questions saying that last week she had already bought on his card and that now she wanted to buy it again. She gets angry and says she didn't want to know, because she needed new clothes and shoes and that at least he was still good enough for that. And asking please, he tells her not to spend his money anymore. She keeps humiliating him, saying that just because he's an invalid, she won't be ugly. Already annoyed, she decides to take the card without his authorization and goes to the shopping mall. The caregiver, not believing what she saw, asks how he can handle all that humiliation. And he says that after so long, he's gotten used to it, but that she shouldn't worry, because the wife would regret how she was acting. A while later, he makes a call and demands that all his credit cards be blocked. Soon after, she storms into the house after discovering that all the cards have been blocked, and enters the room screaming for her husband. And as usual, she starts to humiliate him, asking for explanations about the blocking of the cards. Then he says that from that moment on, she would never use his cards again. Annoyed, she mocks his situation by calling him an invalid and saying that he is totally dependent on her care, and that if he was thinking he wouldn't give her any more money, he was totally wrong. He responds by saying that she was the one who was wrong. He had already found someone who gave him everything he needed. At that moment, he calls his caregiver William, and when she arrives, in front of his wife, he declares himself to her and asks if he would be worthy of her affection. His wife laughs at that situation, but is surprised when she hears William say yes, that she accepts the request, and the caregiver keeps saying that was it. That even though he can't walk, he has many qualities that other men don't have. Angry and in disbelief, the wife flees the room and leaves the two alone. William, holding his hands, says she will always be there to help him. Almost crying, he's sure she'll take good care of him.